For the better part of the day, the Githunguri Member of Parliament, Gathoni Wamuchomba, has been trending. You search on social media, her name features very prominently. And this is because of a speech that she made in Parliament after, Parliament was on recess and so they opened. And one of the biggest agenda that is being discussed is the finance bill and housing levy. The housing levy that had been stopped by the courts, but William Ruto insists that it has to go on by hook or crook. So Gathoni Wamuchomba reiterated facts with facts why she is not supporting the housing levy bill and why people should be deducted. And people have really watched that clip, but that is not what I want to talk about. In a related case, Wamuchomba is protesting Ruto's policies, and she says that she's speaking on behalf of all Kenyans and on behalf of the Githunguri electorates who elected her. Because you know that under the constitution that we have donated powers to our members of parliament. And this is what Gathoni is saying. And it is a very genuine protest. She's doing it on behalf of Kenyans. That tea packers in Kenya are now firing employees as they restructure business models. The taxes are pushing them out of business, and these are the taxes that Muthoni lines up. 35% import duty, plus 25% excise duty, plus 16% VAT, plus 2.5% IDF. I don't know what that means. Plus 1.5% railway levy. One reason why I voted no to passing of the Finance Act and should repeat it. So she's looking back and she does not have any regrets. She says for the same reasons that she lined there, she opposed the Finance Act 2023 that Parliament passed. And I was looking at this and I'm like, all this import duty 35%, 25% excise duty 16%, this is just too much. And the Gathoni Wamuchomba comes from an area that depends on agriculture, whether it is tea, coffee, pyrethrum. The people of Mount Kenya have got this as the backbone of their economy, and of course, you know that agriculture is the backbone of our Kenyan economy. I don't know whether that's between agriculture and tourism, which one takes the upper hand, but I think it is agriculture. And if you listen to Gathoni Wamuchomba, this is not an isolated case. I remember a few weeks ago, the billionaire businessman Buzeki also announced to the nation that he had scaled down because of the same reasons that Gathoni Wamuchomba is lining. And Bundotich Buzeki went on her Twitter handle and announced that we parked trucks from November 1st, 2023, as the increase in fuel prices rendered the business unprofitable. We sent 300 staff packing. We still have some employed. Things are tough, and this is the truth. And then he explained that due to the rise in VAT, we are now officially downsizing with immediate effect. All old trucks including those with Euro 3 and below, will be sent to the scrapyard. That was Buzeki. So when you look at the sentiments of Buzeki and the sentiments of Gadhoni Mushomba, they all point down to one thing, that due to policies that have been put in place by the Kenya Kwanza government, people are losing jobs. Because of the policies, employers are closing down, and investors are even running away from our country. And if you look at the situation, it is also affecting big farms. And if there is one thing that William Ruto must do, is to ensure that he resuscitates all the companies, like the textile companies, the sugar belt. I come from the sugar belt area, and I know that most of those companies are dead. During the last regime, there was an attempt to resuscitate them, but I don't know whether time was short or the previous regime was too serious. I don't know. You know, when William Ruto campaigned, he campaigned on a platform of criticizing the former regime, and he said that Uhuru Kenyatta was not leading well. He promised hustlers that he was going to ensure that he created more jobs for them. Today, the kind of jobs that Ruto is talking about, I don't think is the same jobs that he meant when he was campaigning. Because today, William Ruto insists that the housing projects will create jobs. But come to think of it, the houses that you live in today, even if they were completed a month ago or 2 months ago, do we still have people working in those houses? Because a construction of a serious house, especially if the affordable housing will have to go on, will take maybe a maximum of 1 month. The Martians and plumbers, engineers, and everyone will have temporary jobs. So if those houses are being constructed in Kericho people will have jobs for a month, and then they will shift. Maybe some affordable housing will also be built after Kericho. They will be in Mombasa. You cannot be ferried from Kericho to Mombasa because the people of Mombasa will also want to do those jobs. So the kind of job creation that William Ruto is talking about really is temporary, and I thought he was coming in to give a permanent solution. His promise has gone down the drains. When you look at what Gadhoni Mushomba is talking about, it is not cheap politics. The situation in the country is just too bad. Apart from the fact that unemployment rate is going up, the cost of living has doubled or tripled. So with the two on the table, you don't imagine how people survive. There are no jobs, and the cost of living is too high. Sometimes on the channel, we have people calling and even requesting, can you place this so that people can help? Can you give me this? And you realize that the situation is too bad. Even where you are, you understand this. But I have a problem with the Kenya Kwanza regime. Even as facts are coming out, and I believe that William Ruto has all these facts on the table because he enjoys the intelligence report. He knows how many people are employed, how many are unemployed, how many are employed by the government, how many are employed by the private sector. With all these facts, he does not even need someone to tell him. Yet when all this come up, William Ruto has the audacity of telling people that when I was applying for this job, I knew what I was doing, I was ready for it. And he continues to brag very proudly that he is on top of things. He's on the steering wheel. And they are telling us that the economy is growing, that they have stabilized the economy. You know, I'm not an economist, But then the indicators of a growing economy, if you ask me, in a layman's term or a layman's language, you cannot have an economy that is growing when job losses are rampant. One of the indicators is that you will see many companies sprouting. The ones that are existing will be employing more people instead of waking up to headlines that some companies are closing. We'll be waking up to good news that more companies are employing. And you'll be waking up to some news that companies are increasing people's salaries. That is, I believe as a layman, who is not an economist, those are some of the indicators. We will not be losing investors to other countries like Uganda or Tanzania. And I believe that, this is just 1.5 years down the line after William Ruto took over office. The number of companies and investors that he found from Uhuru Kenyatta have decreased. People continue to lose jobs. And yet William Ruto says that he wants people to pay this housing levy. He wants more employers to continue paying housing levy. It is not working. A policy should be working. If a government sits down with all the economic think tanks, people like Ndi, then we should see that their policies are working for the people, not against the people. Buzeki is saying that it is because of the VAT on fuel, the cost of production, all these taxes and levies. Now, if the taxes and levies are forcing investors and companies to close, is there any need of forcing all these taxes? And I've seen them saying that even Kibaki encouraged people to pay taxes. There is taxing people and there is overtaxation. What is happening in this regime is overtaxation. And even the taxes that people give out are not used properly because the controller of budget has always indicated there is a lot of wastage. So you overtax people and you don't use the money properly, corruption is eating in. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if people are not careful, very soon the economy will be grounded, let alone the noises that are being made by the Kenya Kwanza team. The situation is dire. The cost of education is even soaring higher. What must people do? If the government is not going to listen to people, there is only one thing. Those who are given a chance to elect leaders, don't allow yourself again to be cheated. Because now, as poverty is rocking in, as the cost of living is, soaring higher, it does not discriminate that you are a supporter of UDA or Kenya Kwanza or Azimio. The pangs of anger does not choose. Everyone is feeling the effect. Ruto must sit down with the machinery. And if he's not going to do that, let people suffer until such a time when they will realize that their votes are important and can make a change. I don't know what to think, but that is my take.